2014, a group of restoration workers at a hilltop palace in Budapest carefully scraped away old plaster from a forgotten wall. Their tools stopped mid-air. Behind the crumbling surface, colors emerged, deep reds, greens, golds. They had uncovered a set of 500-year-old Renaissance murals, untouched since the Ottoman invasion. Historians called it one of the most unexpected artistic finds in Eastern Europe. But here's what shocked them most. Those murals belonged to the original royal palace of Buda, a place once considered one of the most magnificent and advanced royal residences on the continent. A palace that had been built, destroyed, rebuilt, burned, shelled, looted, redesigned, and yet still stood proudly on a rocky hill overlooking the Danube. Few castles on earth have lived so many lives. This is the story of Buda Castle, Hungary's royal heart, a fortress of kings, a palace of empires, a symbol of resilience, war, rebirth, and identity. Imagine standing in medieval Europe around the year 1250. The Mongols had just devastated Hungary. Villages burned, cities crumbled, and the king needed a defensible stronghold, something that could never be overrun again. He looked toward a natural fortress, a steep, rocky plateau rising above the Danube River. That is where King Bela IV ordered the first walls to be built. This early fortress wasn't a glamorous palace. It was survival, a stone shield meant to protect a shaken nation. But the location was exceptional. The high ground offered a perfect vantage point over approaching armies. The Danube provided trade, transport, and water. Buda itself was growing into a wealthy medieval center. Over time, the fortress evolved into something far more elegant. By the 14th century, Hungarian kings began transforming it into a royal residence worthy of a European power. This was the birth of Buda Castle, as the world knows it. The most glorious chapter began under King Matthias Corvinus in the 15th century. His court rivaled the greatest Renaissance centers in Italy. Scholars, scientists, musicians, and architects flocked to Buda. Visitors described the palace as the finest in the entire region, a jewel of the Renaissance north of the Alps, a library of breathtaking richness. Yes, the castle held the Corvina Library, one of Europe's most important collections of illuminated manuscripts. Many of these rare books are now priceless national treasures scattered around the world. Inside the palace were ornate halls with gold leaf ceilings, frescoes inspired by Italian masters, marble courtyards and fountains, lavish banquets attended by European nobility. It was an age of art, learning, diplomacy, and innovation. But like so many Renaissance wonders, it was not destined to last. In 1541, the Ottoman Empire invaded. Buda Castle, one of the symbols of Hungarian sovereignty, fell. Life changed instantly. The Ottomans turned the palace into a military stronghold. Most Renaissance buildings were destroyed. Libraries disappeared. Treasures were lost or taken. Over the next 150 years, the city of Buda became a front line in the constant struggle between Ottoman forces and Christian Europe. By the time the Habsburg Empire reconquered Buda in 1686, the magnificent Renaissance palace was almost entirely gone. It was not just a military victory, it was the rebirth of Hungary's royal seat. After retaking Buda, the Habsburgs were determined to rebuild the castle. They didn't want just a fortress, they wanted a symbol of imperial power. Construction began in a Baroque style, transforming ruins into a stately royal residence, grand courtyards, decorative statues, formal gardens. But the most dramatic expansion came in the 19th century, during the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This was the time of elegant carriage entrances, huge wings with hundreds of rooms, ballrooms decorated with crystal chandeliers, frescoed staircases, lavish royal apartments. By the early 1900s, Buda Castle had become one of Europe's largest royal palaces. Its scale, ambition, and symbolism matched Vienna, Prague, and other grand capitals. This was a palace built not only for royalty, but for the image of a powerful empire. But the 20th century had different plans. During World War II, Budapest became the scene of one of the most brutal urban battles in Europe. The castle was turned into a German and Hungarian military headquarters, one of the last strongholds resisting the advancing Soviet army. For weeks, bombs fell, explosions tore through walls, fire engulfed entire wings. By the end, Buda Castle was devastated. Roofs collapsed, interiors burned, historical collections destroyed, royal halls reduced to rubble. More than 2/3 of the palace was lost. But even in destruction, its foundations refused to disappear. After the war, Hungary faced a crucial decision: rebuild, replace, modernize, erase. The answer would shape the castle's identity forever. Under communist rule, the government decided to reconstruct the building, but not as a royal palace. They removed many of the imperial-era decorations, simplified the facades, and added modern elements. The goal was political: remove symbols of monarchy, create a cultural center for the people, use the castle as a museum, not a palace. So today, when you walk through Buda Castle, you're not just walking through medieval stones or Habsburg marble. You're walking through layers of history, some original, some restored, some deliberately redesigned. And yet, the spirit of the old palace still lingers in the courtyards, staircases, and the view from the hill. The palace isn't the only attraction on Buda Hill. Surrounding it is the Castle District, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, filled with medieval streets, colourful houses, and iconic landmarks. Matthias Church, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, with a colourful tiled roof and centuries of royal coronations. Fisherman's Bastion, the fairy tale terrace with 7 symbolic towers, representing the founding tribes of Hungary, the place from where millions of tourists take the city's most iconic photos. The labyrinth beneath the castle, a network of tunnels and caves beneath the palace, used as wine cellars, military shelters, prison chambers, World War II bunkers. Legends even say that Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Dracula, was once imprisoned here. The royal palace courtyards, including the famous Hunyadi courtyard, home to the elegant Matthias well, often called Budapest's Trevi Fountain. The changing of guards, a ceremonial highlight that brings royal tradition into the modern day. All of this makes Buda Castle not just a building, but a complete historical landscape, one that lives, breathes, and evolves with Hungary's identity. Like every centuries-old royal complex, Buda Castle hides stories that most visitors never hear. 1. The lost royal jewels. During various wars, Hungary's crown jewels were repeatedly moved, hidden, stolen, or recovered. Some pieces vanished forever. 2. The secret entrances. Medieval tunnels once connected the castle to the riverbank. Some are sealed, others remain partially explored. 3. The ghost building. There is a section of the palace whose original structure was demolished, but its outline can still be traced in the stone foundations. An architectural ghost, silently telling its story. 4. The reappearing art. Every few years, historians uncover another hidden fragment of Renaissance walls or Baroque details, reminders that beneath the modern shell, the old palace still breathes. If you stand on the Pest side of the Danube at night, you witness one of Europe's greatest city views. Buda Castle glowing golden on the hill, the chain bridge stretching across the river, the reflections shimmering in the water, the Parliament building shining in the distance. The entire city becomes a living postcard. Millions visit the palace each year, not just for history, but for these breathtaking panoramas that define Budapest. Buda Castle is not just a tourist site. It is a symbol of Hungary's story, a story of loss, resistance, rebuilding, and cultural pride. Think about everything this place has survived: Mongol invasions, Ottoman occupation, Habsburg reconstructions, world wars, political transformation, fires, explosions, and destruction, and countless redesigns. And yet, it stands, not as the same building, but as a guardian of memory, a monument that evolves with each century, a reminder that nations, like castles, may fall, but can rise again with strength. As the sun sets on Buda Hill, the palace stones turn deep orange, the Danube glitters like a moving mirror, and the breeze carries echoes of kings, warriors, artists, emperors, musicians, prisoners, and everyday citizens who pass through these walls. Buda Castle is more than a monument. It is a living timeline carved into stone, a place where the past looks you directly in the eyes. And once you've stood on that hill, overlooking Budapest, you never forget it.